Youth Online. We got a few things in store for you guys today. One, we're going to be doing a Bible message here, a little devotional. We are going to do stupid stories with Pastor Andrew again. I got two great stories lined up for you. We're going to try a food from my childhood. I don't know how this is going to go because as a kid I remember it being really awesome, but I'm not sure if it's going to be as awesome as I think. We got a video that I think is funny, but I might have been really tired at the time that I found it. And so you guys will see a clip of that shortly. Here, let's just get right into it, guys.
Hi, my name's Derek. Welcome to Pizza Hut. Let me guess, pizza.
Alright, you guys, hopefully you laughed at that. It might just be me that's laughing at it. But hey, welcome to this new space here. We were able to complete the library, or the old library here. We had a flooding way back in roughly November kind of area, and we kind of got things finally situated after all this. Hey guys, it's a beautiful space. We got couches down there, we got a TV, we got a fireplace behind me. Everything that used to be, you know, like a little hole in the wall when hide and seek has now been closed in. We got new bathrooms. Guys, it's absolutely beautiful. We can use it for devotionals. We can use it for little get-togethers, things like that. But it's beautiful, and this is where the space, I like the setting of it a little better than my little whiteboard in the youth room that I used to talk about. Anyways, you guys, we're just going to get right into the stupid stories with Pastor Andrew. It's a segment that I like to tell stories from my younger childhood where I learned lessons. I don't know if I actually learned any lessons from that. These two stories coming up involve this guy here. His picture here, this guy, his name is Paul Israelson. He is my former youth pastor. He is now district superintendent of the POC Saskatchewan district. So he's, I think he's come a long ways. But he's still an amazing friend and mentor to me. And we actually have a lot of stories together that involve stupidity, a lot of laughs and things like that. And so here, the first story involves partially Elisa, a camping trip, and just being goofy with Phil. And if you guys know who Phil is, boom, this is Phil. He's my best friend, and we do a lot of stupid things together as well. Yeah, my life is just full of stupid stories. Okay, you guys, so anyway, so this guy was my youth pastor, and we went to a camping trip to Elisa's family's cabin, the Castle's cabin. And it was a youth camping trip. We were having a lot of fun, you know, as a teenager, you really want to, you know, try to look goofy or, you know, show off a little bit to the girls so they would notice you and things like that. Or you just naturally just want to have a lot of fun by yourself with your friends. But at this point in my life, I liked Elisa. And we were at her parents' cabin, and I was like, all right, what can I do that would, you know, she'd notice me? All right. And this is where the whole thought started, was how can I get her to notice me? And so we climbed up this hill, because the cabin is in the valley, so we climbed up the hills to this little gazebo area, and we had a little mini devotion and everything. And then we decided that, okay, we're gonna run down because we can go swimming or canoeing or whatever what was next. It was a bonfire, I don't know, maybe it was a night game. Whatever it was, we were like, we gotta get down the hill. And so Phil and I were running down the hill. And I was like, in my head, I don't know if I told Phil this stuff, I'm like, it would be funny if I fell and rolled down the rest of the hill, because then Elisa might notice me and take pity on me for how stupid I am. And so I was like, okay, and I was running down the hill with Phil, and I tripped, and I rolled, and it just so happened the place that I decided to trip and roll on happened to be a hornet's nest in the ground. Okay, I didn't know at the time that there was hornets in the ground, okay? So when I rolled, I pretty much landed on it, my elbow dug into it, I broke the nest, and I was kind of rolling, and I was like, man, that kind of hurt a little bit. And Phil literally looks back, and he just goes, run! And behind me was a swarm of hornets. They were not happy, obviously, that I broke their nest. And so we literally, at this point, our adrenaline is pumping. We just book it down the hill. We didn't warn anyone else behind us that there was a hornet's nest. And so we run back to the cabin, and my now mother-in-law I was like, hey, I got bit by some hornets, and she had to scramble to the neighbors to find some baking soda, and she would mix baking soda, I think baking soda and water, and would put it on the wound, and it would soothe it. And as people started trickling in, there was more and more hornet. And so I don't know if everyone knew that I broke the hornet's nest, but I know it, Phil knows it, Elisa knows it. But hey, in the end, I'm married to Elisa. So who say that rolling on a hornet's nest didn't work? Obviously gave Paul a very interesting evening going, wow, I have to watch all these kids. So for any of the youth that come here and think you do stupid things, we've all been there, and then you're like, I'm gonna get kicked out of youth group. You're not gonna get kicked out of youth group for being silly and making stupid decisions, because we all make these mistakes. And now I can tell you stories like that. So that's story number one. Story number two also involves this guy, Paul. So these two stories are just gonna be kind of in youth group with Paul. And so this begins with the idea that I really liked the lead singer from Newsboys. You guys know who Newsboys are? Boom, they're a Christian band. Really enjoyed them. I just loved their music growing up. And so their lead singer, Peter Furler, he's bald. Do you know where this is going? Yeah, so if I really want to be like Peter Furler, guess what I did? I shaved all of this off. I went to the hairdresser, got a buzz cut, and I said that's not enough. So I took a razor and some shaving cream and balded my head. Okay, I thought I was cool. And it's funny because people now ask me, like, you actually shave your head with a razor to get bald? I'm like, yeah. I can't do that anymore, by the way. Elisa says no, so that's not happening anymore. So anyways, I went bald pretty much right as summer holidays hit. And so sun and my skin don't work together at all. I am as white as can be. I burn as easy as, freezing water kind of thing. And so we went on a youth camping trip. It wasn't to the Caswell's cabin. We actually went to Kenosee. Near Kenosee in Saskatchewan, there's outdoor water slides, a water park, and we went in at the beginning of the morning. We're like, okay, we're gonna go to Kenosee water slides. It's gonna be hot. Make sure to put sunscreen on. So at the beginning of the morning, Paul gave me the spray-on sunscreen, and of course, Phil and my friend Ben were there, and we were putting sunscreen on each other to make sure we, covered ourselves. But it was spray, and so we just assumed you spray, you don't need to rub it in or rub it around. You just spray and you're good to go. And so we spray. Of course, I got to spray my head because I'm bald, right at this point. And so we go to Kenosee water slides. We're having a blast. We get back from Kenosee water slides. We didn't notice that we were turning pink during the day, and so when we got back from the water slides, we were pretty red. And a funny thing about this story that I'm trying to get to is that when I sprayed my head, it was splotchy. And so when I burned, I had patchy burns on my head, and it was not a fun burn because as it heals, it started to peel, so it looked like I had major dandruff going on. But Paul still remembers that story today. I think his wife Cammy blames him for my patchiness. But Paul, I'm gonna let you off the hook because I'm pretty sure it was Phil and Ben that didn't help me enough. So I'm gonna put the blame on Phil and Ben. I'm gonna let you off the hook, Paul. But that's the second stupid story from my youth days. So remember, if you're putting sunscreen on and you're using the spray on, make sure you actually spray. Don't shave your head. I don't recommend it unless you can, it really works for you. It didn't work for me. So there you guys go, second stupid story. Oh hey, new cabinets and countertop. We even have a sink down here now. Anyways, so you guys, this is the part where I'm gonna try something from my childhood. And as a kid, maybe people do this now. As a kid, this was supposed to be fun and delicious. So as a kid, we had sugar, normal white sugar, and what we would do as a kid is we'd take our thing of butter, we would take a spoon. I don't know if I'm gonna enjoy this, you guys. We take a spoon, take a glob of butter, and we would stick it in the sugar. I think I took too much, guys. I'm gonna half this. Actually, no, not even half it. I'm just going to quarter it. And we would roll it around in sugar until we were satisfied with how much sugar was on it. All right, guys, is this going to be as good as I remember it? Or is this going to be just horrible? Okay, so we sugar-coated our butter. I'm actually not enjoying thinking about doing this. All right, and we would... No. I think I'm growing out of this. Sugary and butter. I mean, it's not horrible, but that was just a lot of butter. And that's what we did as a kid. We would literally sneak the butter from the fridge and sugar, and we'd hide in the basement and just roll sugar butter balls and pop it in our mouth. And then we'd have to go have supper, and my parents go, "Aren't you hungry?" Well, I just ate a lot of butter. Yeah, so that is my experience as a kid eating really ridiculous stuff. So tune in next week for something else from my childhood. Maybe you can relate. A few announcements for you guys in regards to youth group starting up again here at the church. We're not doing it quite yet due to restrictions and the social distancing and the meters have to be apart. That limits us to what we are able to do. And so, youth group, we do a lot of these big interactive games like Christian Love Ball, or we're sitting upstairs in the attic playing video games or pool or hanging out. We're in close proximity with the amount of people that we would have. And so I find, and also the games that we would have to do would just be more viable online anyways. And so we're just gonna stick to kind of what we're doing. I know you guys probably are getting really tired of Zoom, so I was trying to switch it up. This last week we did an Xbox Live get together. It was really cool seeing seven people get onto Xbox, playing video games together. We'll probably plan a little better on what games we can do. We'll try to do more cross-platform games so that PlayStation can join in with Xbox. I know we have a few PlayStation players. And so going forward, for the time being, we're just going to keep doing online things until we can gather together and do a little more different things. We still plan on wanting to do a camping trip at the end of June, beginning of July kind of situation. And so I'm going to throw out a little questionnaire to you guys coming up in the future of kind of what you want to do on a camping trip that is feasible with money and the time and the location and the distancing that we still have to implement with it. So the idea is still to do a movie on the side of a wall with a sound system, of course bonfires, cooking smokies, hot dogs, cooking marshmallows, things like that. And so that's still kind of in the works. And then beyond that, we're still going to do youth online like this. And we will still do little get-togethers online, whether it's through Xbox, Zoom, or any other means that we can get together. Hangouts still going on as long as we still have the distancing. I still have 3 people that show up and we play video games and just hang out, get some snacks, things like that. But beyond all those announcements, you guys, I pray that you guys are doing well. I definitely miss hanging out with all you guys. Like I said at the beginning of this segment, it was really nice to see people on Xbox. Like I haven't talked to Connor or Brayden or Vincent in quite a while. Hunter came on at the end, so it was really good to hear. You guys definitely miss hanging out. So hope you guys are doing well and enjoying this video, and we'll see you guys on the next quick devotional. You guys, last week we talked about meeting Jesus face to face, and we talked about Zacchaeus climbing the tree, and Jesus, in a huge crowd, noticed Zacchaeus in a tree and said, "I'm coming to your house." And it made a huge difference to Zacchaeus in his life. We're going to talk about meeting Jesus face to face again in another story. In the book of Mark, in one of the gospel accounts of Jesus, he meets a blind man. This blind man is brought to Jesus, and obviously he wants to see, so he's like, "Jesus, heal me. Will you heal me?" And so in this account, Jesus, it's going to sound a little weird, but Jesus spits on the man's eyes, and he asks, "Can you see anything?" And the man goes, "Well, I see blurry shadows. Everyone looks like trees." And then Jesus puts his hand over his eyes, and then he goes, "Now what do you see?" And the man is healed. And you're probably wondering, what does it have to do with with me and my story, like Jesus is gonna spit on my eyes, or Jesus is gonna, like, I'm not blind or anything, but I think it's a clue into how Jesus can work in our lives. There's moments that in the Gospels, Jesus does something instantly. And people are healed, or people understand something very easily, but there's also times when it takes a little bit of a process for people to understand. Jesus talked in parables, and in these parables, he would tell a story, and then people would go, what does that mean? He's like, you can't. And then he would explain it to them. But there were some parables that people got instantly. And I think that goes with healing, is that sometimes it's instant, but sometimes it's a process. And so in your life, I talked about last time, is that Jesus is calling your name, that Jesus is looking for you, looking for a relationship with you. The same way goes with this. It's a process. That maybe you've accepted Jesus, but not a huge lot has changed necessarily. But as you pursue Jesus, as you get into the Bible, as the more you read about him, the more you read about who God is and what it is like to be in a relationship with him, the more we grow, the more that we begin to see, the clearer we see. We're no longer seeing blurry shapes, we're seeing clear pictures of who Jesus is. And it's a journey that you're going to have to take. The blind man told the truth. He said, all I see is blurry trees. And then Jesus worked the next step by covering his eyes and asking, what do you see now? And he could see. You have to pursue the journey. Yes, Jesus pursues you and he wants a relationship with you, but you still have to do things on your part. You still have to make choices. You still have to accept Jesus into your heart. You still have to read your Bible to understand more. You still have to pray. You still have to pursue. It's a two-way street. God doesn't do all the work, just like we don't do all the work. The Holy Spirit helps us to understand what we're reading by giving us wisdom and understanding, or patience to keep reading, or encouragement that we're doing good. But you also have to make those choices. When you accept Jesus, yes, there's a change in your heart, but you also make choices to change your old ways as well. Don't go back to your past life of sinning. Don't go back doing these bad things that are hurting your health and hurting the people around you and hurting yourself and your eternal life. Change your ways. So Jesus is working on you, and it's going to take time. It's a lifelong journey, as people say. You're not going to be instantly perfect. You're going to keep working and working and working until you meet Jesus one day. And so you guys, don't take this as a downcast. Take this as an encouragement. Keep going. Keep pursuing Jesus. Keep reading. Don't give up. Even though you'll hit like a stumbling block here and there, get back up. Get back on that path. Go, Jesus, I'm sorry for what I've done. I want to keep following you. I'm going to get back on this path. I'm going to follow you. Don't give up. Be like the blind man. Call it to Jesus. Pursue Jesus. You want a change. He wanted a change. He got partial visibility, and then Jesus healed him fully. Keep pursuing, you guys. The outcome outweighs the journey so much. We'll catch you guys next week for Devotional.